Hey y'all, come on in here, come on in. It's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. We are together again. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. How you guys doing? How's the day been? Um, as you can tell, I'm a little made up. I got a little makeup on today. I was actually at a conference for women business owners for most of the day today. So, I had to represent, I had to look good. So I put on a little makeup, got a little dressed up so that I could, look good. Because if you look good, you feel good. So I went ahead and did it. So here we are. Here we are. Oh man, we are here for the Life Love Libido Show tonight. And if you didn't know, today is National Women's Equality Day. And I'm like, this is so cool and so appropriate. We've had some good days during the month of August that are here, to shine some light on our lives as women. We had National Orgasm Day. There was the International Female Orgasm Day. And now we have the National Women's Equality Month or Equality Day. So, August is turning into one of those good months, kind of like May, because May is also a great month, especially when it comes to sex, because it's National Masturbation Month. So, these are some of the things that are popping up on our radar and popping up on our schedule. So I'm excited to be here tonight on National Women's Equality Day to talk a little bit about that. And so, before we jump in, if you are catching this on the replay, definitely put in the comment section #replay so I know that you were here. And if you are here live, or even if you're catching it on the replay and you know someone who needs to hear this conversation, then I want you to share. I want you to tag so that, this information can get out, because it's important to know. Not all the time do we pay attention to, what's happening, those observances and things like that. And some of them, are not as well known. So today, for sure, I wanted us to acknowledge National Women's Equality Day. And, of course, I'm going to put my spin on it. So we've got to put our spin on it. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We are going to talk about full equality in the bedroom. Because you know who I am. I'm Dr. Brandye, board certified OBGYN, Amazon #1 best-selling author, and I am your sex and pleasure coach. So when we are looking at different topics, different observances and things of that sort, if they are not overtly related to women's sex and pleasure, if I can find, a spin on it for that to incorporate the topics that we talk about on our show, I try to do that. One, because it's important for me to share with you how important sex and pleasure is for women. And even when I was at the Women Business Owners Conference today, I had several conversations with women on just that topic about how sex and pleasure and the lack thereof actually is detrimental, not only to our health, not only to our vitality, but also to our bottom lines. And, one of the things that we talk about when we talk about women receiving full equality is the idea of being able to receive equal pay, The original observance was created to commemorate the approval of the 19th Amendment so that women could get the right to vote, and they weren't treated as second-class citizens. They didn't have to have all these extra things to try to influence, because they then were granted the right to vote. So that's the original reason for Women's National Equality Day. However, it has morphed and transformed into talking about full equality for women across many different spheres. And so one of those spheres has to do with the financial sphere and pay equity, which is one of the things that, is very, very near and dear to my heart. Because if I go through the same training and I do the same and I have the same skills, why am I being paid less just because I'm a woman? So, that's a whole other conversation, but that ties into one of the things that we know about women and their equity position in the bedroom, because that actually does play a part in your bottom line. It can play a part in your bottom line. Hey Tamika, welcome. Thank you for coming on tonight. We are talking about National Women's Equality Day, and we're talking about how what is happening in the bedroom actually can contribute to a woman's ability to exist and have full equality in this world. And so we were talking about how, there's a pay differential between genders, even accounting for similar backgrounds, same training, same skill level. There still is some pay equity disturbances that can happen. So that's what we're talking about. And specifically for my work and my show, when we talk about stuff like this, we are talking about how what happens in the bedroom can actually influence what is happening in the boardroom, what's happening on your job, what's happening in your place of employment. And so, I'm not talking about, people getting busy in the break room and nothing like that, or the Grey's Anatomy, people falling all over each other in the call rooms. I'm not talking about that. But what I am talking about is how your satisfaction with what's happening in the bedroom can have an effect on your ability to creatively problem solve, your ability to be a good leader. And those are skills that translate into usually more money. So that's one of the reasons why sex and pleasure in women is so important, so that we can overcome these discrepancies in the treatment of men and women, and allow for us to be able to exhibit and operate in that same level of equality. And so that's why we're talking about it tonight, because it's National Women's Equality Day. If you are just jumping on, please say hello in the comments so I can say hello back. I always love it when I have people jumping on to hang out with us, especially on Wednesday night, because this is our usual night, and we get to have a good conversation. So say hi. Say hi. Let me see who's here. But in any case, specifically tonight, I wanted to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is orgasms, and bring to notice that even with there being some equality and there seeming to be this acceptance of sex, that there is not equity when it comes to pleasure and orgasm for women. So there's been several studies that have come out that talk about the frequency of sex with men and women, and it talks about the frequency with orgasm or pleasure from sex. And in those studies, what they have shown is that for every 10 times that a man engages in sex, they will have an orgasm 8 or 9 of those 10 times, if not 10, right? So we're looking at 80 to 100%. If they have sex, they're going to orgasm. Versus with a woman, for 10 times that she has sex, she may orgasm for maybe 5 or 6 times out of those 10 times. So there's definitely an imbalance that's happening, right? There's an imbalance that's happening. And it makes sense for why a lot of women are like, I don't want to have sex. For what? It's a crapshoot. If I'm gonna enjoy and engage in this activity and actually have an orgasm from this activity. Hey, Dr. Erica, thanks for jumping on. So glad to see you. We are talking about the orgasm gap, and we're talking about that in relation to it being National Women's Equality Day. And we're talking about bridging the gap, that orgasm gap, because that is another area where women are not getting their equal share. And so we're going to talk about that and why that is. So women are not getting their equal share when it comes to orgasms, when it comes to pleasure in general. And that can be for a number of different reasons. Some may be this thought that, sex is not for you to enjoy. It's not for you to have pleasure. Dr. Erica said, yay, equal orgasms, right? That would be nice. That would be nice. Right before you jumped on, I was talking about how for most women, having sex is one thing. Having an orgasm and enjoying the sex is a whole other thing, and it's a crapshoot. Literally, women are having orgasms 40 to 60% of the time, which is ludicrous. Right, more orgasms, more peace. Girl, plus some other things. More orgasms, more peace. Everybody will be happy. There will be more dollars in the coffers, because there was a study that showed that women who were happy with their sex life, who were having regular orgasms, having regular good sex, were actually more creative, more able to problem solve, and they had better leadership skills, which translated into better positions at work and translated into better pay. So twofold. If you're getting busy in the bedroom and you're having great orgasms, not only is it going to make you feel good and help you to live longer, it can increase your bottom line. So that's even more impetus to be able to do more, to protect and to encourage your sexual energy. And it doesn't matter if it's with a partner or without. So if you don't have a partner and you're using your Bob, your battery operated boyfriend, it still translates into those benefits for you. So yeah, Dr. Erica said, I believe that. Girl, it's true. It's true. So why would the orgasm gap exist? Well, one, just a matter of education. Women have not been taught that they are worthy of pleasure, that their bodies were made for pleasure. There are actually certain practices that take away a woman's ability to enjoy pleasure and are altering their structures to take that away from them, and also to try to make the pleasure better for a male partner. That's something called genital mutilation, which is a horrible practice. And the thought process is that it will keep women from being promiscuous and all these things. And it's another form of regulating a woman's sexuality. So that's one thing, or that's two things. So a belief that you are not worthy of pleasure, that your body's not made for pleasure, that sex is not for you, it's for your partner. And then two, sometimes there are some practices where it literally is a physical, okay, we're going to make sure that you don't have this pleasure. There are some religious beliefs that state that sex is just for the purpose of creating a baby and not for pleasure, which is not something that I believe. I believe that God created sex to be enjoyed in the proper context, and that it is a gift given to us so that we can enjoy our partners and enjoy our bodies together. And so, that's another kind of belief issue around sex and pleasure for women. Another reason why this orgasm gap may be prevalent is because we are, the vulva and the vagina, it tends to be a mystery. If I'll say it that way, it tends to be a mystery. And for some, it tends to be almost like a Pandora's box. So, we are afraid to look at it. We're afraid to explore it. We're afraid to touch it because, all of our lives we've been told, keep your legs shut, keep your underwear up, don't touch down there, don't look down there. It's a bad place. Just don't. And so we don't know that there are areas that are down in the pelvic region that can give great pleasure. And consequently, our partners have also been told, you do it in the dark, you close the door, you don't close the door, turn the lights off, you don't look down there. And nobody teaches even the guys, like, listen, there's more to sex than just inserting tab A into slot B. And if you really want to pleasure a woman and not have this be a one-way street, there are certain things that you can do. Now, there are some men who, have done their work in terms of figuring out what feels good, what doesn't feel good, some techniques and things like that. But every woman is different, and certain things may feel good to one woman and they may not feel good to another woman. So there's this lack of education again around the structures and what can happen, what can be pleasurable, and how to stimulate those areas. And then there's just the idea that sex is dirty or is bad. It's not something that you should engage in at all. It's nasty, it's dirty, it's bad. It's a mixing of bodily fluids and all these things. So there's so many different reasons why there is a gap in women having orgasms versus the number of orgasms that a woman can have versus the number of orgasms that a man can have. And I think it's definitely is a lot easier when you have something protruding versus something that can be more internal. Although the clitoris is on the outside and it can give great pleasure because it's actually, if you were to look at the structures of the pelvis of the man versus the pelvis of the woman, the penis is similar in origin as we're developing to the clitoris. So lots of nerve endings, very sensitive, more likely for you to orgasm with stimulation to those tissues, right? Tamika says, sex is good. Yes, sex is good, Tamika. It is. And that's my job, to spread that message that sex is good. It is. As long as it's in the right context and you are honoring yourself with that. So the penis and the clitoris are what we call analogs in terms of the structures that are there to be stimulated to allow you to have great sex and great orgasms. But there are structures inside the vagina. There are so many pleasure points that are inside the vagina. There are pleasure points that are not even down there, that are, on your face, the back of your neck, your nipples, your breast. There's so many different places. And so, just being able to know where they are so that you can, stimulate those areas is important. And we do a disservice to our people, just in general, because I was going to say we do a disservice to our young people when we do, sex ed class, and we only talk about STD prevention and pregnancy prevention. But nobody, even after you get out of that school age and you become an adult, there's still not that other type of sexual education that happens. And that teaches you, what it looks like to be a sexually fulfilled woman, what it looks like to, kind of own your sexuality and not let it be dictated by what other people are saying and doing. And so I think that is important to discuss on a day like this. Just knowing that we as women can be the masters of our sexuality and be the masters of our bodies and not have to worry about somebody else dictating what's okay and what's not okay. So that is one of the things that we can talk about just in terms of closing the orgasm gap. It's just taking ownership, taking to heart that your body is yours, and how you choose to enjoy pleasure and engage in pleasure, that is your choice. Another thing that we can talk about just in terms of closing the gap, bridging that gap, is the use of bobs, battery operated boyfriends. I mean, you don't have to call it a bob. It doesn't have to be your boyfriend. You can use it when you're having sex with a partner. You can use it when you're doing solo play. But it can help you, especially if you've never had an orgasm, it can help you to be able to have an orgasm, because that's a common thing that I hear from patients and clients alike. They're like, I don't even know if I've had an orgasm. I don't know. So, sometimes using a different form of stimulation can help you to be able to identify, hey, that's what an orgasm feels like. Okay, I think I might have felt that before, or I've never felt that before. And it gives you, a reference point to be able to say, okay, I know what an orgasm feels like. Or conversely, you've had orgasms, but you just don't feel like they've been, over the top, the big fireworks explosion that people tend to talk about when it comes to orgasms. One, I'll say that not all orgasms are, the fireworks in the sky. Oh my God, oh my God. Sometimes they can come in a different form, and they can be less intense like that, but more intense in a more a subtle way. So just knowing that there are differences in orgasms, and being educated about what those different types are. So those are a couple things that you can do to be able to bridge that gap and close the orgasm gap. And so tonight, what I will charge you with on this National Women's Equality Day is that you would please, if you are able, engage in some activity that will help you to close the orgasm gap. So whether that's with a partner or by yourself, I am asking that you celebrate this day, because this is not the day where we can actually go out and vote. That'll happen in November, but you can do something to celebrate this day and begin to give women full equity and full equality when it comes to sex and orgasm, sex and pleasure. All right? So I'm going to get out of here because I got a little bit more work to do. That's why I still have my makeup and stuff on. I got some videos to record. So I got a little bit more work to do before I can chill on this Wednesday. But I hope you enjoyed your hump day. I hope this was helpful for you and informative. And again, if you're catching this on the replay, definitely hit hashtag replay in the comments and share this, because sharing is caring. All right. So I will talk with you guys on a Friday night, because we will be having Dr. Brandye After Dark at 8:30. So we'll be right here again, and we'll have some good stuff to talk about. So I will see you then. I'm Dr. Brandye, board certified OBGYN, Amazon #1 best-selling author, and your sex and pleasure coach. And I teach women how to feel good in and out of the bedroom and how to get their sexy back. So I will see you guys on Friday. Bye.